Hi, I'm Rachel Donegan. I am the Howe Library's Emerging Technologies Librarian, and I am here to show you how to make something every week. This is Howe Makers. Today we are looking at Tinkercad, which is a free web-based application for 3D design. And once you create a design, you can send it to me and I will be able to print it out on our Ultimaker 3 3D printer. First thing you're going to do once you're logged in is click on Create New Design. Okay, so here we are in our workspace. This is called the work plane, and there's a couple different ways we can navigate around it. One way is with this box. So if you click different parts of this box, or even if you take this box and sort of click it and drag it around, you can move your workspace around, your work plane. You can also hit Control. I'm on a Mac, so I can hold down the Control. I can click my trackpad and then use my finger on the trackpad to move the work plane around. You can also zoom in and out with these buttons here, or you can use the keyboard shortcuts, the plus and the minus keys on your keyboard. So the first thing we're going to do is change the name. So Tinkercad likes to give projects really weird names. I'm going to change this one to Rachel's project. That way I'll be able to find it later on. I'm going to make a keychain, which is a nice first project because it highlights some of the different things you can do, and it's pretty easy to make something, and it's very quick to print a keychain as well. So we are going to click on this box, and then you can mouse over your work plane and click again, and that will drop a box into your work plane. These white boxes are how you will resize your rectangle. So as you toggle over it, you can see that it gives you the dimensions of this cube. So it's 20 by 20 millimeters. And I'm going to pull one of these white cubes out to make it more of a rectangle. This one is going to squash my rectangle down a little bit. There we go. Now I can look at what that looks like. Next, I'm going to put a hole right over here so I can put a key ring through it. For this, you have two holes already made for you in a way. You can make any of these shapes, any of these basic shapes you can make into holes. But we're just going to use this one for now. So I'm going to click on the cylinder, I'm going to click out here. I'm going to put it approximately where I want it. It is too big. So I can use these toggles to shrink it down. This is sometimes it's hard to get it perfectly circular this way. So what you can do is actually just go into this box and click the dimensions you want. So I want it 10, 10. So now it's a circle that is 10 millimeters in diameter. I can do this. Oh, we can see it is not lined up where I want it though. So what I'm going to do, there's two ways to do this. You can either drag a box over the whole thing, and that selects the whole thing, or you can click on the cylinder and then hold shift and click on the rectangle. That does the same thing, it just selects both shapes. And now I can go up to the align button. I'm going to move this a little bit so you can see it a little better. These black lines give you different options for aligning these shapes. So you can see a little preview when you mouse over them. I want to be right in the middle of this up and down dimension here, this vertical dimension. So I'm going to hit that toggle right there. And you can see that I am now right in the middle. Although I am a little close to this left edge. So I'm going to click on my work plane to deselect my shapes, and I'm going to select just the cylinder. I'm going to use my arrow key to just bump it over a little bit. And I'm going to look at that again. That looks pretty good. It doesn't matter that this cylinder is taller than my rectangle because this is just negative space anyway. One thing I do like to do is look underneath and make sure that the hole went all the way through, which it did. So now I'm going to add some text. My keychain is a little bit boring. I'm going to go back to my basic shapes, scroll down a little bit until I find this option, which is text. I'm going to click on it and then click on my work plane. And by default, it puts it right on the 0 of the z-axis. But it just says text. So I'm going to go over here and type in Rachel. And it's a little bit too big. If I held the shift down, I could maintain these dimensions. So if you don't hold down shift, you get sort of these, you can stretch it out, which is also kind of fun. And it does keep the lettering all the same distance, so that looks okay. I'm gonna click on it. Oops. And then I'm gonna drag it over my keychain. And I'm gonna look at it. Oh, that's actually not bad. I could shift click on the rectangle and use my align again to make sure that I think I got it right the first time, but that's a trick to align your text on your work plane or on your rectangle. So this Rachel's text still looks a little bit high to me, so I'm going to bump it down a little bit so it's just barely raised. I could also make this text into a whole up here. You can click whole, and then I could make it emboss down into my rectangle, into my keychain. So that's another option. I'm going to choose to just do mine raised like this. I'm going to give it one more look-see here. See that I like everything. So one more thing you have to do before you export it is select your whole object, drag a box over the whole thing, and you want to group it. So now you can see a nice preview of what your keychain is going to look like once it's printed. It might not be red, depends on what color we put into the printer, what color filament we put into the printer. So, but it's all one color. So the next thing we're going to do is export it. We're going to hit this export button here. So we want it as an STL file. That's what our printer uses to print. So we're going to click on STL, and it's preparing it. I am going to allow downloads, and now it's in my downloads folder. So we can go to my downloads folder. And there it is, Rachel's Project STL. So now that file can be emailed to me, and you also have to go to the form and fill out the form so I have your contact information, so I know how to contact you. And I will show you that in the next section. Here we are at the Howe's homepage, and what you want to do to find the form is go down here to Collection and Resource and scroll down to Studio H. This will bring you to Studio H's page, where you can learn about some of the tools we have in our digital media studio on the lower level of the library. And you want to go to right here. It says to order something to be 3D printed, go here. Click on that link. This will take you to the form where you can request something to be 3D printed. There are a few restrictions. We can only do things up to a certain size. We do charge a minimal amount for filament if your object is large. We need your contact information. You have to choose a filament color for your project here. And here you tell me how you're going to submit your STL file. The best way right now is email. My email address is right here. And you can submit that STL file that you created in Tinkercad.